You already know the intro, you know how it go, hey, what's up, how's it going? It's the boy down Soyce in the morning, or even depending on where you are right now. Today I'm coming at you with What If Shinra Learned the Black Leg Style Part 2. Now, this originally was supposed to come out like yesterday, but due to some technical difficulties, everything, my video at that point, everything was just gone. So I had to redo it, and so now it's coming out now. But yeah, I am also sorry for being gone for like a month, 1 month hiatus, which is ironic when like 4 videos in, I said that I want to be more consistent in the 4 videos in, I'm just gone. But I'm gonna try and make sure that it doesn't happen again. That would suck. But yeah, today I'm coming at you with What If Shinra Learned Black Leg Style Part 2. And as you can see, we're adding a new character from the thumbnail. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Shinra, after the encounter with the Infernal on the train with his new company 8, he introduced himself like normal, but Lieutenant Hinoma accused him of being a punk who was just trying to add some points to his record. Shinra was a little pissed after hearing this, but he just clenched his teeth and said, "No, I will be a hero! It's what my master trained me for!" Obi was curious, and he asked who his master was, and he told him that it was the retired fire soldier Sanji Vinsmoke. Both captain and vice captain were shocked, and when he asked what was that about, he explained his relationship and how they met. Also the fact that he had been living and training with him for a while. Inoue then realized, now that I think about it, it must have been Vinsmoke's black leg style they used on the Infernal from earlier. Though, while it is impressive that you inherited his strength, is it possible that you also inherited his more lecherous ways? Shinra knew exactly what he was talking about, and it made him develop a dopey, ashamed look. Obi laughed, but then Shinra said, well, luckily, he made an effort in shedding those tendencies after meeting Pudding. Now we flash back. We see Shinra and Sanji sitting at the counter of the restaurant that Sanji had his young protege get a job at. Shinra was on break and the two chilled over milkshakes. Man, these are pretty good. They taste different from normal though. What's up with that? Shinra answered, well, we got 2 new hands on deck and she's a whiz in the kitchen. She's related to the boss, Old Man Hanes. Her expertise is sweets. I had her make these in expectancy of you. Oh, here she is. Then the aforementioned woman came from out the kitchen and Shinra introduced the two. Hey Pudding, this is my master, Sanji Vinsmoke. Master, Pudding. Sanji was infatuated with the woman, both because of her obvious skills in the kitchen and her looks. Sanji's cooking style also was more salty and savory style, so as he got to know Pudding, she began to teach him how to cook more desserts. Shinra would often tease that since Sanji was the one who taught him to cook, and now Pudding was teaching him, that she was his grandmaster. The two eventually got closer and closer, and Pudding wound up moving in, and 2 months prior to where the story is, Sanji proposed and got a yes. Anyway, said Obi, trying to move the conversation forward. No matter what tendencies he had, both Blackleg and his master Redleg were strong soldiers. You got a lot to live up to, kid. Of course, talking to Shinra. I just want to see if you got what it takes. The kid then nodded and gave a salute, as he assured he would. Afterward, Maki and Iris introduced themselves, and Company 8 would have their first meeting as usual. Then, later on, as Shinra tried to sleep, there was a report of an infernal, so Company 8 rolled out. As he rode in the company van, Obi could see that Shinra was in a deep thought and tried to give him a pep talk. He also told him that what was on the line, so he shouldn't mess it up. Shinra just looked up and told him that he knew what he was going to do. He was going to put his training to good use. When they got there, Maki began to clear the flames, and when she did, Shinra sensed an infernal attack and was able to dodge. Sensing things around him was also something taught to him by Sanji, kinda like what Benny Morrow had taught to Arthur. And it was also a nod to observation Haki, or at least it is, in this What If. Anyway, he then came face to face with the Infernal and see it was a woman. He had already heard it was one, since the husband of her asked for his wife to be put to rest, and yet he wavered. Did he really want to use all of his training and disobey his master's major rule? As he was in thought, the Infernal swatted him away, making him hit his head and flashback to memories of him with his family and being called a demon as a child. He was then woken by yells for him to wake up, and he was told that he was blacked out for about 5 seconds. Shinra was mad at himself for already being so useless, and before a plan could even be made by Obi, he yelled out, "Maki! Clear a path so I can reach the Infernal! Sister, start the prayer!" The girls looked toward their captain, and since he could feel his new recruit's intensity, he allowed it. As Maki cleared the flames, and Iris started the prayer, Shinra was already behind the Infernal before anyone could even react. He kicked it away and then pinned it down with his foot, and when Iris finished her prayer, he finished it with her, and used his flames to blast through the Infernal's core. They then all started to walk out, and Obi put his hand on Shinra's shoulder, and told him that he didn't let his master down, to which Hinawa agreed with. After he was thanked and cheered on by the crowd, he felt great, but he also felt an uneasiness. He said he wasn't sure about what the two had said to him. The Infernal was a woman. Did he just betray his master's teachings? As this inner conflict raged on, Hinawa stepped up and told Shinra to talk to his master so that they could clear everything up. Shinra wasn't sure about what he was talking about, but decided that he would take his advice, and he went back home the next day. When he knocked on the door to his old home, Pudding answered. She was glad to see him and wanted to know how his first day was. He said it went smoothly, but that was kind of the reason he was there, as he went on his first mission yesterday night. Pudding was concerned, and she checked to see if he wasn't hurt too bad, but he assured her she was fine, and his problem was a moral one. Eventually, after being checked up and down, he was finally able to see his master. Sanji asked his student how his first infernal encounter went, and Shinra told him that he had a dilemma. He defeated the infernal, but it was a woman. He ended it as quickly as possible, but still. Is that it? Don't worry, kid. This one's on me for not explaining. Shinra was confused, but Sanji explained. Well, when you quote-unquote kill an infernal, you're accompanied by a sister. You eliminating the infernal is really just releasing them. Me being the chivalrous guy I am, I think it's important to do. He then ruffled the kid's hair as he told him, Don't worry about it, you did a good thing. Shinra smirked and thanked him, also winding up staying for the night. The next day, Shinra went back to the 8th, and when he got there, Hino greeted him and asked what Sanji had said, being glad that apparently everything had cleared itself up. He also told him, By the way, we have another new recruit with us today. He asked who, but saw the answer right in front of him, his old rival, Arthur. At seeing him, he immediately kicked him outside the building and the two were ready to fight. Before they even began though, Maki asked how the two even knew each other. Shinra explained, Well, this fantasy nerd. I am a samurai knight, Arthur interjected. Whatever. The two of us went to the same training academy. He called himself a knight and tried to say that they were superior to heroes. When I pointed out that knights were a subcategory of heroes, he turned it to Knight King. But not only that, he cemented himself as my rival when he started training with my masters just to outdo me. What do you mean? Maki asked. Arthur walked in front of Shinra and told her, I shall explain, my lady. We then cut back to Arthur's academy days. He and Shinra have already met and are regularly at odds. The thing is, though, Arthur could tell that his rival was pulling ahead of him. This was only a few months into Shinra's training, and one day Arthur decided to follow him and see what training he was doing, and as he followed him, he saw him commune with a man who he heard him call Master. Arthur did some research on the man he saw, and discovered that he was a retired fire soldier with a similar ability to Shinra's, that let him coat his feet in fire. He discovered even more through his research though, as he found that Sanji had an old rival, another fire soldier with an unorthodox fighting style, a second generation fire soldier who wielded 3 blades. He decided to track the man down. It was hard though, as he was pretty active and did like to take care of infernal alerts and bounty hunt when he needed some cash. All this even though he had retired at the same time as fire soldier Sanji due to some grave injuries from an unheard of situation. For you see, one day, an entire bus full of people fell victim to spontaneous human combustion. Those same people then proceeded to melt and amalgamate together, And then the product was one big inferno. It then began to run rampant, devouring all who would cross its path. Fire soldiers, some fire soldiers, had shown up to try and defeat it, but those who had come had just fell to the beast. Then, those two arrived on the scene. Sanji Vinsmoke and Roronoa Zoro. The two, at the time of catching wind of the monstrous inferno, were at a restaurant competing to see who could eat a huge bowl of ramen faster. When they got there, Sanji told any soldier who was there to focus on evacuating civilians, and the two could handle things themselves. Good. Now I have a lot less people in my way, Zoro said as he brandished his blades. What, are you not gonna flame up? Sanji asked. No way. We don't even have a sister yet, which means I have time to simply test my strength against it. No need to try and end this too quickly. You meathead, what about structural and environmental damage? It burns everything it touches. What, are you scared? Wanna repeat that, Mosshead? Fine. I'll show you that I don't even need my fire to outdo you. The two rushed out the inferno, but were split up as it spit a stream of fire at them. Well, that's new, Roronoa joked. I'm guessing it fused with the pyrokinetic. That means it allows itself to manipulate flames. But I guess that just means a better fight for me. If only a swordsman though. But it looks like we are gonna have to bring the heat. Zoro then clashed his swords together, creating a spark. From it came a small burst, and then flames, that engulfed his sword. This was his ability. Using his willpower alone, he could create a fully fledged flame from a simple spark and control it. Sanji followed his lead, spinning in place, creating friction until his leg lit on fire. Luckily, unlike Shinra, he had the foresight to fireproof his clothes. The two also had the observational hockey-esque ability, so they could continuously dodge the Infernal's attacks. Not to mention, they were both very strong and very fast. This Inferno wasn't a weakling though. The two could work well enough together, but there was constant bickering that got in the way of their teamwork. In this battle, they took a lot of damage, and both wound up getting flung in the same direction. As they groaned and got up, the two locked eyes and nodded to each other. They knew they had to end it with one shot. Sanji once again began spinning, getting faster and faster until his leg began to burn blue, the heat even burning through his fireproof clothes. Zoro also began spinning the two blades in his hand, making them so strong and spinning them so fast that what appeared was a spinning blue wheel. In terms of the sword in his mouth, he amped the fire and then tightened it, making the sword blue. The two once again nodded and charged forward, yelling respectively, Diable Jambe! Blue Walk! 3 sword style, 3,000 worlds! The two flew towards the Inferno at blitzing speeds, and were able to burst through the monster, making it fall to the ground and begin to wither away to nothing but dust. The two fell to the ground, and had a not-so-gentle landing. They were breathing hard, starfish on the ground, but were still laughing as they bumped fists. Oh wait, what about the sister? Sanji brought up a good point, and the two then became a little worried, but then a sister revealed herself from a hiding spot. She told them that she was hiding out, waiting for them, and then she initiated the prayer as soon as they went for the final blow. She scolded the two for being so careless. They just chuckled at this though. Now back to the first flashback. So, after a while of looking for Roronoa, Arthur finally ran into him at a ramen shop. He approached the man saying, Hello, my lord. Zoro stared at the kid, mid-slurp. Arthur continued, My name is Sir Arthur Boyle. I am the Night King, and I seek mentorship. What the heck are you on about, kid? Zoro asked, dazed in his confusion. Arthur then explained the situation with his knighthood and that he's trying to beat his rival, who is pretty sure was being taught by Vinsmoke. Vinsmoke, huh? Well, kid, you're pretty weird, but I guess training you would be a pretty good way to pass the time. Plus, it'll be a pretty good way to compete with little eyebrows. Like the old days. Before Arthur could say another word, Zoro dragged him away by the hair. Training started immediately. Zoro started him off with intense weight training and strength training. Then they started sparring. Zoro refined Arthur's swordsmanship to a T. For a while, they started with one sword, and then they tried to work their way up to Arthur getting more blades. They would train so often that Arthur practically lived with Zoro. He let his parents know just in case they ever returned while he was gone. Arthur would also accompany Zoro on bounty hunts sometimes, but never when dealing with Infernals. When asked why, Zoro told his protege, "No way, I'm not taking you out there, kid. The first time you get called out, you'll be working with a new team and you'll have no idea what to expect. You'll be out in the field, the real world, facing off against a deadly Infernal. I'm not gonna water down that experience." While it annoyed him, he went along with it, so he didn't have much of a choice. While Arthur trained with Zoro, Shinra could notice his gains. And before he could even try to question his rival, he was given a message. "Hey Devil, my master, Roronoa Zoro, has a message for yours. He says to tell him, isn't it funny, Vinsmoke? I'm still outdoing you, even when it comes to training my student." Hearing that pissed Shinra off, and when he told Sanji, he felt the exact same way. After that, Shinra took more time to train and trained harder. This also made him and Arthur's rivalry that much more serious. "Anyway, ever since then I've been outdoing this devil," Arthur said, capping off his flashback. The two were about to start again, but then Hinora, who was totally listening in, appeared and told them, "Hey, if you two have so much energy, then how about you use it on Maki?" None of them knew what he was talking about, but he explained that he was going to have them spar against Maki. Both were against it though, as Shinra had Sanji's influence, and Arthur fancied himself chivalrous. As they tried to deny, Maki swept the two up with a single kick and sent them flying, trying to let them know that she could handle herself. Arthur got up saying that she must be an ogre in disguise, setting off his superior, and she charged at the two. The cadets both started to perspire, and Shinra got up quick saying, "I won't attack her, but I'll back you up." "Fine, don't screw this up, Devil." "That's my line, you idiot knight." Okay guys, that's going to be the end of the video today. That's what if Shinra had the Black Lake Style 2. If you like what you see, consider checking out some of my other videos. Like, subscribe, and do all that, share. And specifically Anime Mafia, I hope that you enjoyed that episode, because I know that you've been wanting a episode 2 for a minute. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. And yeah guys, stay safe, have a good one, and I'll see you next video. Later.